All right, man, peace. So Jayson Tatum, the explosive rookie for the Boston Celtics, who's currently leading the entire NBA in three-point shooting percentage, was interviewed by Michael Smith and L. Duncan on SportsCenter. Let's see what they have to say. Of course, I'm going to chime in.
Mike Smith, L. Duncan filling in for Jamel Hill. The 6 at 6 continues, and we pick things up, Mike, with the association.
Celtics play host to the Heat tonight. These teams have met twice this season. Last time on South Beach as Miami snapped a 16-game winning streak. But let's talk Jayson Tatum, shall we? The leading candidate for Rookie of the Year had Ben Simmons played last year, but nonetheless, the class of the 2017 draft class.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I believe that Donovan Mitchell and him would be going head-to-head for that Rookie of the Year title had Ben Simmons played last year. Jayson Tatum is playing incredibly well, extremely proficient, but his role on the Celtics is a bit different from Donovan's role on the Utah Jazz. I believe by the end of this season, Donovan Mitchell will be the leading player on the Utah Jazz. He's already pretty much their go-to guy down the stretch, him and Rodney Hood. Right now in Boston, there's not as much pressure on Jayson Tatum because of Kyrie, as well as the emergence of Jaylen Brown, and of course you have Al Horford as well.
Tatum leads all rookies having scored in double figures in 28 of the team's 33 games. He leads everybody, rookies, vets, grown-ups, churn, in-betweens, in three-point shooting at 52%, 67 from the corner.
That is crazy. Let's bring in Jayson Tatum, who joins us live here on the 6.
Before she asks her question, let me just say the sky's really the limit for this guy, because he's shown that he can go to the basket with very, very strong moves. I mean, he finishes over defenders with authority. Very explosive leaper. Great finisher. He just has to work on his left hand a little bit, but he already has a smooth jump shot. Once he gets more comfortable in the intermediate range, maybe add some post-up game to his to his skill set, he's going to be an incredible player for them, as long as he stays healthy. Their future is very bright. That's why I stated on the Anthony Davis video, if they can get Anthony Davis without trading either one of those two young forwards, they're definitely going to be, in my opinion, 1A. If they can swing a trade maybe with their draft picks, and if they will take him, Gordon Hayward, if New Orleans will take that, who knows? If they can maybe find a way to communicate with Davis and get him to demand a trade, Kyrie Irving style, who knows? But if they can find a way, if the Boston Celtics can find a way to bring Anthony Davis in and not have to lose any of their current roster, they are right there with Golden State.
We just mentioned a couple of the other names that are on that Rookie of the Year. How much do you pay attention, be real, to what Simmons and Donovan Mitchell are doing? And do you compete with those guys from afar?
I definitely pay attention. NBA is on every night. And I mean, you can't stay away from it from social media, but I'm happy for those guys. They're playing extremely well, and I'm just trying to stay up there.
How does a guy who shot 34.2% from three at Duke last year lead the league at 51.5 in the NBA as a rookie? How does that happen?
I wish I knew. I never would have thought I shot 52% this year, but that was one of the knocks on my game. Coming to the draft, that shooting the three. So my trainer, Drew and I this summer, we shot 253s a day, just to get ready for the draft.
That's great. That means he knows how to turn his weaknesses into a strength. That's definitely a great sign for the Boston Celtics franchise, as well as the future of his career.
Expand my game.
What is it about the system, whether it's Brad Stevens' system or players like Kyrie and Al Horford, that are setting you up with good looks from three, for you to take efficient and smart shots to be able to connect the way you are? Did we lose you? We lost Jayson?
He's looking off camera. Can you hear us, Jayson?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, you got
Back.
it?
There we go.
I was asking Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, how the way they set you up with looks from three help that percentage? Which, by the way, I peeped that you rounded that up. I said 51.5, you said 52. I appreciate that. But how have your teammates gotten you good looks to be so efficient from three?
Because Kyrie draws so much attention, and coming off the pick and roll, Al draws a lot of attention, and they're very willing passers. So I just got to do my job and be open and knock down open shots.
All right, we're not just going to focus on your offensive prowess because you can't get run, especially as a rookie with this Celtics team if you don't play defense. Last I checked, and these numbers might be outdated, so I beg your pardon, you were 4th in defensive rating in the NBA among players who play at least 30 minutes per game at 99.8 points per 100 possessions. Defense wasn't necessarily your calling card coming out of college either.
Well, it's very obvious on that team that they have a defensive persona. Almost all their starters or everyone who gets minutes on their team is ranked in the top 5 as far as defensive rating. So in order for him to fit in with the team culture there, he has to play great defense. As I stated in a previous video, defense individually is mostly just conditioning as well as want to. In regards to team concepts, now that's when you have to have a very good coach who understands what he wants the team to get done. But defense is mostly conditioning and want to. I stated in a previous video that James Harden, the reason why he has or why he's had so many problems on defense is because of his conditioning. Now, someone said that it was also due to him playing or having too many responsibilities for that team on offense prior to Chris Paul getting there. Yes, that's part of it, but also we also have to understand that James Harden, previous to Chris Paul coming there, has always shown that he wants all of the responsibilities. Why? Because he wanted all the credit. As he started to get older, I think that he understands now that in order for him to truly be great, he has to divest certain responsibilities. And that's one of the hardest things for talented people to come to terms with, is understanding how to actually delegate authority and power, which actually makes them stronger. So that's a sign for James Harden that he grew as a person and he matured. He was willing to accept Chris Paul, bring him in, and not view him as a threat. And he's become a better player this year. And he's been able to reallocate some of his energy reserves to defense, as well as losing 12 pounds, as he himself has admitted, which once again proves my point that defense oftentimes is based on conditioning. You have to be in great condition to play both ends of the court hard. But back to the topic of this video, in order for Jayson Tatum to get major minutes, he has to play defense because that's the profile of that team. They have to scrap.
How have you elevated that aspect of your game, or was it just underrated to begin with?
Coming into the Celtics organization and playing for Brad, if you want to play, you got to play defense, especially for me being a young guy. I definitely want to play, so I had to pick up on defense extremely quick.
Plus, he's young. He comes from a well-coached background. He played at Duke with Krzyzewski. He's a very good athlete, good condition, great length. There's no reason why he shouldn't be very effective on defense.
It's really natural for any young guy to be compared to people, and a lot of Celtics fans like to say, hey, he's Paul Pierce. And then coming into the draft, there was a lot of people that compared you to Carmelo. But when you look at your game, who would you say that you most model your game after?
My favorite player ever, growing up was Kobe. But, when I was in high school, I really tried to model my game after Carmelo and Paul George. Those are two of my favorite players to watch.
I do see a little bit of Paul George in his game. So I can definitely understand and respect who he claims that he modeled himself after, because I definitely see a little bit of that in his game, especially being a two-way player.
When I was growing up in high school and in college, and just to get a chance to play against those guys when we played Oklahoma City, I think that was the coolest part of this season so far, just being on the same floor as them.
Well, happy anniversary to your boy Kobe. He scored 62 3/4 against the Mavericks 12 years ago. Maybe you could drop 60 on the Heat tonight to pay homage. So listen, before we let you go, man, the best thing I heard about you made me so proud, because people think I'm crazy when I say my favorite Eddie Murphy movie is Life. I heard that's your favorite movie of all time. You too young to know about the Upper Room.
Right.
What you know about the Upper Room?
Life was a great movie. My favorite Eddie Murphy movie is probably The Golden Child. Not because it was his best film, but because that film definitely resonates on various levels. If I ever catch that film on TV, I'll probably delve into that movie for the channel's sake. But Eddie Murphy in the 80s was a monster. He's an absolute monster.
The Upper Room.
Wingy.
Life.
That's good
That's
upbringing.
my favorite movie of all time.
See, that explains it right there. Great playing with great taste in movies, man. Well,
It's still coming to America, but that's fine.
trading places you really can't go wrong.
Coming to America is another classic movie that I'll probably be dealing with on this channel when I get a chance to go through it. Great film.
Hey, man, thank you so much. Go do work tonight against the Heat, and we'll see you soon. Appreciate the time.
All right, thank you.
All right.
But anyway, that is the rookie phenom for the Boston Celtics, Jayson Tatum. The sky is definitely the limit for that brother. So hopefully he can fulfill his potential with the team, not go through any hardships. Peace.